Who is the most dangerous variant of the Mad Titan Thanos? And is Marvel priming his appearance for Avengers Secret Wars? Now that the multiverse is fully open, there is no limit to the number of different versions and variants of beloved characters that we could see. This extends all the way to our favorite heroes as well as villains, including the plague of the Infinity Saga, Thanos. In fact, the versions from Infinity War and the bulk of Endgame are variants of one another, so we have already seen variants of Thanos before. In fact, he serves as one of the earliest examples. One particular variant, however, seems to have much more allure, to the point where his inclusion has been rumored in Secret Wars. So today, let's talk about the most violent Thanos who actually beat the Avengers. The King Thanos variant that has just been given his own ride, as revealed as of D23, leading many to wonder if he will have a larger role to play going forward, as well as various rumors that King Thanos will play a critical role as a hero and ally of the Avengers in Avengers Secret Wars, after murdering his home universe team and successfully mastering the Infinity Stones. King Thanos comes from the universe currently designated as TRN 666, though the TRN stands for Temporary Reality Number, and it's possible that this reality will be given an official name sometime later down the line. For the broad duration of this Thanos' life, his existence mirrored that of the Thanos that we know, who was born with the deviant gene on Titan, and then rose to power as an interstellar warlord. What went different though, was with this variant, is that he was able to remain consistently threatening even to the point where he was a threat when his Avengers were much older and much weaker. On Earth 666, Earth's mightiest heroes waned with each passing battle, until eventually, Thanos ultimately became too powerful to stop. Thanos marched across the galaxy, annihilating just about any planet that he came across, until the vast majority of the known galaxy was a simple dead husk, a corpse of what once was, now completely devoid of all life. The saddest part of this iteration of Thanos, though, is that he was doing this in order to seek out death, whom he had been yearning to join for years, yet there was nobody powerful enough to beat him in a fair fight, and he longed for the death, but also a challenge that he deserved. Anyone who remained was under the complete and total servitude to the Mad King, including the Rider, otherwise known as Cosmic Ghost Rider, an extremely powerful entity. In this universe, this variant of Ghost Rider was Frank Castle, who took on the mantle of the Rider and became the right hand of the Mad King Thanos. King Thanos is also the variant who kept the Hulk on a leash as his own personal guard dog, and across the entirety of the galaxy, there was but one individual who had been able to elude him. The Fallen One, otherwise known as this universe's version of Norrin Radd, who had been the only living creature to escape from Thanos' grip, though he worked tirelessly to hunt down and capture the Fallen One. Eventually, however, even this Thanos grew wary and wished to find a way to finally unite with death. In order to achieve this, King Thanos gave a fragment of the Time Stone to the Rider and sent him back in time to capture the only foe capable of defeating the King, himself. When the Rider ventured into the past, he was able to recover a version of Thanos from his prime, and would bring this prime Thanos back to the future where he was faced with his elder counterpart. Believing this to be a trick, he immediately attacked his future self. The two variants of Thanos clashed, and for the first time in years, King Thanos was considerably challenged by the might of a truly powerful variant. And after the battle had waged on, King Thanos figured out a way to end the conflict. King Thanos was able to recite the name that his own mother was going to give him before she was driven insane, and this is the information that only Thanos would have known. He used this as a truce flag, and the two were able to now communicate with one another without immediately trying to kill each other. The intention was that King Thanos would eventually have himself killed by his younger self, and he still had one last mission to accomplish, slaughtering his old foe, the Fallen One. Eventually, the Fallen One would arrive, bringing behind him the Annihilation Wave in a last-ditch effort to dethrone the Mad King. With his younger self to aid him now though, King Thanos eventually reigned supreme over the Fallen One, as he would capture the Fallen One and brutally execute him, calling the attention of Mistress Death yet again. It was here though that the young Thanos would learn of his counterpart's true intentions, and he finally understood why he had been brought to the future. The elder Thanos prepared for combat, and the two waged a violent one-on-one warfare to the fullest extent of their abilities. Slowly, the aged Thanos, much like the Avengers before him, would begin to wane. He tired more quickly than his younger self did, and had much less stamina and durability. and eventually, the younger of the two managed to overpower the old king. Upon being defeated though, King Thanos accepted his demise at the hands of his own true superior, a younger version of himself. But the younger version hesitated. He could not reconcile with the idea that a version of himself would ever willingly seek out death, let alone beg for it. He understood what it was like to yearn for death, and he wanted nothing more than to be with her, but he would not surrender himself or his values to achieve this. If Thanos was going to die, it would be because he had truly confronted an enemy that was superior to him in every way. He was going to fight until his last breath, and would never willingly be led into death's cold embrace. The fact that a variant of himself could become so soft and so weak disgusted Thanos, and he would let his older self go as a memory of what he used to be. Knowing that King Thanos would suffer the endless torment of being alive, the young Thanos took the shard of the Time Stone and returned to its home timeline with one simple goal: to never become as weak as his older self. It didn't matter that King Thanos had achieved his goal of complete and utter domination. He did not care that there was nobody left in the galaxy who was powerful enough to challenge him, because none of that made a difference. When young Thanos returned though, King Thanos' timeline began to fade and unravel, indicating that something in the past had caused the flow of history to become unstable. He asked Death what all of it meant, and she simply responded that the younger version was keeping his promise to never become like King Thanos. By making this decision at the core in the past, he was able to stop King Thanos from ever existing, despite the fact that this was one of the most powerful variants of the character in all of comic history. He was able to conquer everything in his galaxy and timeline, and the fact that this character now has an official ride being constructed after him is a huge key of what is to come, and what role a King Thanos could play in Secret Wars. We do know a variant of Thanos did actually appear in that story. The primary reason why Thanos showed up in Secret Wars in the comics is so that he could have his spine ripped out by God Emperor Doom. And I do have a feeling that this could happen in Secret Wars. This would immediately let us know exactly where Doom stands in terms of power scaling, especially when we take into account the backstory of not a regular Thanos, but again, its King variant. This is a version of Thanos who has conquered an entire galaxy, stomped through the Avengers, enslaved the Hulk, and bends the power of the cosmic Ghost Rider to his will. King Thanos has been proven to be more effective in the long run than any version of Thanos, and even if his younger self is more powerful in terms of sheer strength and youth, this is a variant that has experience and wisdom. Even if his body is slowing, his mind is strong, and using what he knows of the Avengers could help to cripple anyone who would face him. Right now, the predominant theory is that various anchor beings from different timelines will be put on something of a life raft, similar to what happened with the Future Foundation in the original Secret Wars story. If this is true, then Thanos may be an anchor being, or a being of a distant universe. There's nothing that states that an anchor being has to be a hero in any of the lore. The only criteria we have so far as the definition of an anchor being is that they are an individual of such monumental importance to a universe that their absence sends ripples across the timeline. This fits very nicely with this version of Thanos, as he is quite literally the cornerstone of his galaxy, being that he is the only one left. It doesn't get much more important than the King of Existence, which may explain how he winds up on Battleworld, and more importantly, how he ends up in conflict with Doom. It also means that this King Thanos and the Avengers could be forced to work side by side, and this would make for an incredible dynamic. And finally, it gives Dr. Doom permission to slaughter Thanos, potentially even ripping out his spine as he did in the comics, so we all understand the true power of the God Emperor. But anyway friends, what do you think of King Thanos and his potential inclusion in the future of the multiverse saga? What would you like to see from this version of Thanos? And are you confident that he will appear in Secret Wars? As always my friends, thank you so much for watching. Hulk smash that subscribe button for more Marvel lore and updates, and have a great day.